everyone, I am Maria Loren and welcome to Snap Science Tutorial. Today I am going to talk all about climate change. So first, let us know what climate change is. Some of you know that climate change is somehow the same and is also called as global warming. But these two phenomena have differences from each other. Global warming refers to the recent and ongoing rise in global average temperature near Earth's surface. It is caused mostly by increasing concentrations of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Global warming is causing climate patterns to change. However, global warming itself represents only one aspect of climate change. While on the other hand, climate change refers to any significant change in the measures of the climate lasting for an extended period of time. In other words, climate change includes major changes in temperature, precipitation, or wind patterns, among other effects that occur several decades or longer. The most general definition of climate change is a change in the statistical properties of the climate system when considered over long periods of time, regardless of cost. Accordingly, fluctuations over periods shorter than a few decades do not represent climate change. Some evidence of climate change are sea level rise, global temperature rise, warming oceans, shrinking ice sheets, ocean acidification, declining Arctic sea ice, glacial retreat, and decreased snow cover. Now, let us learn what are the causes of climate change. Most climate scientists agree that the main cause of the current global warming trend is human expansion of the greenhouse effect. Warming that results when the atmosphere traps heat radiating from Earth toward space. Certain gases in the atmosphere block heat from escaping. Long-lived gases that remain semi-permanently in the atmosphere and do not respond physically or chemically to changes in temperature as described as forcing climate change. Gases, such as water vapor, which responds physically or chemically to changes in temperature, are seen as feedbacks. Gases that contribute to the greenhouse effect include water vapor, carbon dioxide or the CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons or the CFCs. On Earth, human activities are changing the natural greenhouse. Over the last century, the burning of fossil fuels like coal and oil has increased the concentration of the atmospheric carbon dioxide or the CO2. This happens because the coal or oil burning process combines carbon with oxygen in the air to make CO2. To a lesser extent, the clearing of land for agriculture, industry, and other human activities have increased concentrations of greenhouse gases. Other human activities, such as agriculture and deforestation, also contribute to the proliferation of greenhouse gases that causes the climate change. Global climate change has already had observable effects on the environment. Glaciers have shrunk, ice on rivers and lakes is breaking up earlier, plant and animal ranges have shifted, and trees are flowering sooner. Rising sea levels due to the melting of polar ice caps contribute to the greater storm damage. Warming ocean temperatures are associated with stronger and more frequent storms. Additional rainfall, particularly during severe weather events, leads to flooding and other damage. An increase in the incidence and severity of wildfires threatens habitats, homes, and lives, and heat waves contribute to human deaths and other consequences. Change will continue through this century and beyond. Global climate is projected to continue over the century. Some of the future effects of climate change in our environment are temperature will continue to rise, frost-free season and growing season will lengthen, change in precipitation patterns, more droughts and heat waves, hurricanes will become stronger and more intense, sea level will rise 1 to 4 feet by 2100, and Arctic likely to become ice-free. Humans are largely responsible for recent and future effects of the climate change. This certain phenomenon affects everyone. Our lives are connected to the climate. Human societies have adapted to the relatively stable climate we have enjoyed since the last age, which ended several years ago. A warming climate will bring changes that can affect our water supplies, agriculture, power and transportation systems, the natural environment, and even our own health and safety. Some changes to the climate are unavoidable. Carbon dioxide can stay in the atmosphere for nearly a century, so Earth will continue to warm in the coming decades. The warmer it gets, the greater the risk for more severe changes to the climate and Earth system. Although it's difficult to predict the exact impacts of climate change, what's clear is that the climate we are accustomed no longer a reliable guide for what to expect in the future. We can reduce the risk we will face from climate change by making choices that reduce the greenhouse gas pollution and preparing for the changes that are already underway. We can reduce risk from climate change. Our decisions today will shape the world our children and grandchildren will live in. That would be all for today's tutorial. Keep on watching Snap Science and kindly visit our page on www.snapsciencetutorial.com for more updates.